We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
Right, so let's get ready to rock and roll, everyone. So I want to welcome you guys to the show tonight. And as always, I want to thank you for being here. We got a great show that's going to be coming with you, and you definitely don't want to miss this one. And you want to definitely share this particular video because it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be, I call, life-changing. We're going to have Erin here tonight, and she's going to be talking about a few things. And I think you should be really, really open-minded about all the things that we're going to hear tonight. In fact, she's going to cover a few things, and one in particular is...
You are getting ready to become a galactic citizen, meaning this human linear reality you've been experiencing is only a small piece of the puzzle.
And so, again, get ready because we're going to fill in the pieces for you, especially those of you when we go down the Starseed path. And those of you could be wondering, hey, am I a Starseed, or what is a Starseed? And we're going to talk about all that tonight, and we're going to cover that as she talks about this now.
Being a Starseed is not a trend. It's not something that is just here for the moment. It's all fun and games until you wake up and you realize you're a starseed and you start connecting with galactic beings and speaking in weird languages and doing all types of crazy energy healing. It's not a trend, and it's something that is deeply important for the human evolution.
Yeah, and so and I had a lot of questions about star seeds, and so she actually is going to go really deep. We're going to take a deep dive, and then later on in the show, you don't want to miss it when we cover this particular topic.
Humans are hybrids. Humans contain genetic modification to their DNA that has happened over many, many, many thousands of years from different beings who have ruled the earth during different periods of time.
Now, with that being said, let's get it. Truth Seekers. Hey, this is Roderick Martin, and as you know, you're here on Roderick Martin's Why the Big Secret on Forbidden Knowledge TV. As always, we're happy for you to be here, and you could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I'd like to bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show is aired. And we got a good one for you tonight. And I want you to get ready to put the women, not the women, but the non-believers, the children to bed. You know how it is. Whether it's man, anybody who don't believe, put them to bed. But, you know, I'm located in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. It is a Texas thing, y'all. And as you know, in Texas, we have a big promise, and that's to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, create captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. Join me tonight with Erin Lyons, in which I just have a huge admiration for, and we're going to go deep tonight, and you're going to be enjoyed. So I want you to get ready, and like I said, put everybody to bed, because this is not for kids. And if you have not cooked dinner, I'm going to give you a quick recipe. How about some chili, Matt? Yeah, I did it again. Yeah, we're going to put a little chili, add a little macaroni and cheese, and voila, you got something quick. It's a Texas thing. But anyway, I'm excited, man. I wasn't here last week because of the Texas storms, and it was cold. It wasn't snow. It was ice. And so let's do it. All right, so I hope you're ready. I'm ready. We're going to get down with it. We are talking about the show tonight. And once again, I am excited. You should be excited. You should be excited as well. So let me shut this down a little bit as we get ready to crank up. And hopefully everybody has had a great week. And I see a lot of you in here tonight. We got already 400 people already. And so that's really good. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot more as this show goes on. So I hope you're prepared. And again, like I said, we have just a wonderful guest. So let me bring her into the conversation. And we just got to do it. We just got to do it. And I hope y'all ready, because we're going to show a couple other things for you tonight. I know the audience is ready. You got to be ready. So let me bring her into the conversation. Erin, what's going on?
Hi, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
Look, I'm excited. You're excited. They should be excited. Everybody is excited. And we're just gonna hop into a few things today. And of course, you know, I'm in Texas, and you, where are you located right now?
I am in New York, the New York City, New Jersey area.
Okay, so she's in New York, Texas, and so as we know, a lot of things happen in New York. And so if you're going to be a star, that's right what a place you should be and everything. And, you know, I just played on words, Starseed. Okay, you're going to be a star. But anyway, Erin, I know everyone is excited, especially with the title of the video about channeling and, you know, all of these things. And we're here tonight to really share some things with the audience. You and I have gotten to know each other, and really, when it comes down to star seeds and what all we deal with, this Galactic Federation and all that. And sometimes, you know, I like to stay clear until I find somebody who is authentic, like yourself. And it allows me to say, okay, and then I can learn from as well. And so we'll be doing that. So first of all, a little bit about you, just real quickly. Share a little background of how you've grown up, and what was your religious background prior to where you are today?
Yeah, so my upbringing was, I mean, like any average Black person. My mom was Baptist Christian or like that side of our family, but
Mhm.
my dad was actually Muslim. So he was like one of these Black men that converted to Islam during when that was like a hot thing to do. But nonetheless, from that early age, having these two different religions in my life, I can say really was a huge catalyst to me becoming a truth seeker, just wanting to understand why I was here, what this whole experience was about. And I could just always feel that something wasn't quite adding up. And so, long story short, that just led me on this path of questioning and studying all of these different religions and schools of thought, and um found myself being launched into a spiritual initiation, activation, awakening, and that's like a whole other story. But that's the background of how I eventually opened the spiritual door.
Now, I mean, you took a unique journey to get here. I mean, you went through the well, how could I put it? You know, being successful in life, going to college and picking up on a trade and everything else. But you walked away from something that we're not talking about. You know, you worked at UPS or you were just some common things. Share a little background of the
Sure,
knowledge
sure.
that side of the fence.
Yeah, so when I was in college specifically, so around 19, this is really when the spiritual awakening started to happen, and the channeling and just feeling like energies and beings were connecting to me. But nonetheless, I'm a 19-year-old college girl trying to live a normal life. And coming out of some of the ego death experiences that I had, I very much was in a place of like, do I just shave my head, move to India, build an ashram? I didn't know what to do with myself. I was in the
Mm,
process of getting a finance degree as all of this was happening. And I did feel like, should I pursue this, this path? So ended up working on Wall Street for 8 years as a licensed stockbroker and wealth advisor. And I'll have to tell you why I ended up continuing that with that path and that journey is because what my spiritual guides were essentially telling me was that there were certain lessons and things that I needed to experience before doing this work fully. So I always knew I was going to be a spiritual teacher and these types of things. I just didn't know how or when. And what I can say is, looking back, I really, really, really needed those experiences because I needed to be challenged with the real world reality of what most humans deal with at work, in relationships, in business, all of these different things. So I really learned how to become a master manifester and manipulate energy to create the things that I wanted, and that's a part of awakening.
yeah, and like I said, kudos to that because I know it took a lot of studying to be part of Wall Street, but then also with this side of the fence, it's just
Yeah,
pulling you like you're more, it's something else, you know. And so
yeah.
it's just one of those things that I think it's just a phenomenal story. Now I know we connected. You're familiar with Project Black that I initiated, which is the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge,
Hmm.
and essentially it's for not to exclude anyone out of what we're talking about here when it gets down to this phenomenon, but to shine light on an area that is disproportionately being reported, represented in all of these things that I think is going to really help our community, but also bring forward people like yourself who's willing to come to not just into the light, but forefront, help other people who may be mysteriously thinking, I'm different. I don't know why, what's going on. And so that initiative is pretty, and it's going to get bigger. So we talked about it. Tell me
Hmm.
your connection of how you feel about, you're going to be part of what we're doing. We already decided that, but give me, what are your thoughts when we talk about the Black community and
Yeah.
why it's hard for us to talk about these things?
I think as a Black individual, you have so many other elements that you might be dealing with that when it comes to awakening or ascension, as we call it, and all of the spiritual evolution, it is more challenging. And I think the more representation we have where Black people can see that there are other Black people having these experiences, who are coming into a deeper understanding of who they are beyond their physical vessel avatar. And I know me and you had a ton of conversations, and as you know, I'm huge on that. As a Black person, you on the spiritual path, you will get to a point where you have to question everything that maybe you were believing about yourself and your power, and more so identify with who you are as a soul, as opposed to like you being in the avatar of a Black person. However, I do want to say it's so important to acknowledge the pain of especially Black Americans, what our ancestors have experienced, and how that shapes our entire reality and ability to have a spiritual awakening. It is just that much more challenging for us. So love
Yeah.
what you're doing. Know that it's important, and happy to be a part of that initiative.
Yeah, and I was looking at one of the chats here. I'm gonna bring it up so this guy can. I want to bring a little attention to what he just said. Why is everything about Black people? You know, and this is one of the very reasons that drives these conversations, because why not? And when we are looking at an area that is very, very disproportionately represented, especially in the UFO things, and I try to bring light, and this is about education, so it'll educate people like himself who made the comment, that even when you look into history and ufology, period, I've been looking and researching. I couldn't find a lot of details of stories. And although African American people experienced abductions, and we were on a military basis, when you read all the
Sure.
documentaries, all the stories of books is written about this phenomena. And when I started going back, and this is again education for all of you who think this is an exclusion, but it's inclusion. But I'm glad he popped that up there, because it's when you look back into our history and what has happened, especially in the 30s, the 40s, and 50s, you got desegregation, you got all of these things. And the local reporting agencies for UFOs and abductions and alien experiences were the local sheriff departments in these towns.
Sure.
And I try to point out what African American person would have risked walking to a local sheriff department when you had the KKK. You have all these different things out there, even the corruption of the police department, and you want to go in there with some crazy idea that, hey, I've been feeling these dreams, I think I've been contacted, or I saw a UFO last night. It's wiped out completely history.
Yeah.
Not one wife would let her husband go down there, and then not one husband is going to tell his wife. So, and then it's like a whole blanket. And I'm in this. I'm in TV shows. I've host. And in fact, October, not October, but February the 10th, everyone go to History Channel. Ancient Aliens is doing a show on investigators, and I'm gonna be in that particular TV show episode of Ancient Aliens, and it's 2 or 3 millions of people are going to be watching, and so I understand that. So we're going to move into the conversation, but I just wanted to let this person know, if he feels any way, then it got to go the other way. And then don't even think about today, when you got so much, stuff that's happening in our lives today that we're going to worry about,
And I want to just add something here too, really quickly. This is not about only Black people. This is about all people, but this is a part of a conversation we need to have to advance a mass awakening on this planet. And so if you're triggered by the fact that Black people want to have conversations about Black experiences, likely it's because you're so used to only having conversations that revolve around white experiences. But it's not a hierarchy. And I want to make that clear. Like, in my work, I don't just represent Black people, I represent all people, but I recognize the experiences of Black people, and how important it is to shed light on those.
Absolutely. We're on the same page, and I appreciate you. Let's get down into why we are here.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to get down to it. We got the foundation set there. And once again, to share a little bit about her background, she already said it. She's a universal channeler. And so we're going to channel tonight. Yes. And so y'all get ready for that. And we're going to probably give you a little taste of some galactic language that for me, it just blew me away. So we're going to do that. And then just want y'all to know, everyone that's here, when we're done here tonight, we're going to hop over to Why the Big Secret YouTube channel. Yeah, we have a separate channel. And she's going to do a Q&A. So that means you guys can ask some questions, maybe get some channeling. I don't know. So we're going to do that as an after show, but definitely we're going to hit it hard tonight. And in the bio down here is all of her social links. She has a YouTube channel as well. Make sure everyone subscribe to her YouTube channel because we're going to do some great things from there. So let's talk about the Earth Ascension Project. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This has been talked about. People talk about it all the time. I used to have a lady that came on. Her name was Angelique, and that was one of her whole messages about ascension. And so it stirred up a lot of people. So for us in this audience, what is ascension?
The way I see ascension is ascending into a higher dimensional consciousness, a higher frequency of consciousness. So most humans have been experiencing their reality on Earth through a third dimensional lens, a third dimensional perspective. And that comes with certain limitations and even what I like to call a spiritual amnesia. You don't really remember who you are as a soul. It's kind of like getting dropped off in the middle of somewhere of nowhere and not having a manual. That's pretty much the third dimension. Now, with ascension, humans are elevating into the fourth dimension, and then the goal is to create this bridge into a fifth dimensional perspective where you activate your God power, meaning you reclaim your multi-dimensional self, which is a timeless quantum being that is not bound by the time-space reality of what we've been experiencing thus far on Earth for thousands of years. So
Wow.
that's ascension.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erin Lyons. She's in the house today. So I used to get a lot of questions on Clubhouse, and I would get messages from people, Erin, that will send like emails like, I'm contacting you from the Galactic Federation and all of this stuff, and you this and you this. And I mean, it happens all the time. And it got me wondering at one point, because I think it was either Linda Modenhow, no, Barbara Lamb. She always talked about, she's a good friend of mine. She always talked about the Galactic Federation. So part of this federation, I would assume, would be beings. So who are these galactic beings assisting Earth ascension? And why would they, and what interest in it, and why would they help us anyway?
Right. So the Galactic Federation, you can sort of see us as and I have some beings here who are already starting to come through. You can see us as a galactic United Nations. So the same as the UN on planet Earth, where all of these different countries come together for the upliftment and overall betterment of the planet. The Galactic Federation is the same thing, but it's at a universal level. And so the whole goal is to maintain the balance of light and dark energies throughout the universe, because whatever's happening one place impacts the entire system energetically. And so these beings, the Galactic Federation is made up of hundreds and thousands of ET races. Okay. The ones that we hear about, Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Syrians, etc., that's only a very small piece. And that's because those beings have more historical connection with what's happened on this planet, meaning at different points in time, they seeded colonies here, or they were a part of the genetic expansion of the human DNA. So that's why we hear these same names. But the Galactic Federation itself is comprised of hundreds and thousands of ET races who have basically agreed and said, oh, hey, we operate on the universal law of one to uplift the entire universe. Now, every group of ET beings are not a part of the Galactic Federation, meaning they do not serve the universal law of one, meaning they have their own agenda, or they are more neutral and they don't really want to be a part of that. So Galactic Federation specifically has a job, and it's not just Earth. There are many worlds throughout this universe that we assist in their ascension process to maintain the balance of light and dark energies in the multiverse. But we're just speaking about this universe right now.
So I noticed that you were seemed like you were channeling, or they were the team.
Right. They were coming through already. Yes.
All right. So I want to definitely know when they're here
Okay.
in the audience. I'm sure they want to know. Oftentimes people want to, and I'll get into my next question, but what proof do we have that the galactic, it exists, period, outside of, okay, you're channeling, you're there. Is there any proof in our dimension that we can say, hey, that's remnants of this federation?
Well, you have many, I won't say many, but more and more individuals such as myself who identifies as a starseed, who we are specifically here to bring forth this information and be that, the bridge or the conduit for the information to come through. But you can even look in ancient Earth history, like the pyramids and these different things that have been left behind that allow us to know that something bigger has taken place here beyond what we understand. Like the science behind how those structures would be built, it just didn't happen by hand, right? Someone used some type of advanced technology to create these things. So there's not always going to be physical proof, but okay, so what the Galactic Federation is explaining right now is that that's also a part of your ascension journey, is that learning how to use that inner discernment, because that is a part of coming into your sovereign self, where you can trust what you feel and believe is true without someone telling you this is what it is, or seeing something in the physical. It gets to be an interpersonal intuitive knowing. It's like they're calling this unlocking your quantum memory. And you can feel the resonance of the frequency of truth when you are intaking that information.
Okay. All right. So I see a couple of questions in the chat. And also, if any of you watching right now, as you can see, tonight's sponsor is no one. And if you want to be tonight's sponsor and forever live within this video, you can send a super chat, and whoever's the highest as we go will become tonight's sponsor. And then also support the show, support things that we're doing. And as we bring more greatness of information to you. And if you find value and you want to be one of our sponsors, you can go ahead and do that. Erin, I have a few, questions, and we'll get into, being a galactic citizen in just a moment. But, and I'm going to deviate us a little bit and I'll bring us back on course. We talk about light workers. Okay.
Mhm.
You've been a light worker. And of course, there's a light language, and we're going to give them some of that language later. So y'all make sure y'all stick around toward the end. You're going to be blown freaking away. Well, you're just going to be amazed. What is a light worker? And then we'll get back to how do you become a galactic citizen?
Okay. A light worker is simply a soul who has chosen to be a part of this spiritual awakening project or initiative, so to speak. So a light worker doesn't have to be a starseed, meaning their soul originates here on planet Earth. This is where they've had most of their experiences. But when you're on the other side, planning your life, and like soul contracts is a whole other thing. But when you're planning your life, you say, oh, hey, I want to serve the collective in this type of way. I want to do this type of thing. And light workers, you don't always have to be doing something that's considered to be spiritual. You have light workers who are working in tech right now, who are working on like clean and sustainable ideas. You have light workers who are working in healthcare and schools, and it's everywhere. It doesn't have one look. So chances are, if you're here tonight, you're a light worker because you are expanding your own consciousness so you can take that energy and that frequency into your community. And so what the Galactic Federation is explaining now too is the family structure template systems on this planet. Many of you, maybe you're not doing energy healing work or anything like that, but simply by you healing yourself, you are resetting that lineage blueprint for your family. So we're all playing different roles.
It makes sense. And one of the questions that I had, or thoughts all the time, was, and I think you and I, we actually went into that, was we think about our parents, and we're born to Mrs. and Mr. Martin, my fathers, okay, and mother, or anyone per se. But then yet the children, okay, the offspring says, hey, I'm a Starseed. I'm not even from this planet. I don't even know how y'all became my parents. And it used to get me like, man, what's really going on? You know, explain that, like I'm
Okay.
a 4-year-old, okay?
Yeah.
The difference between how could I have these two parents, but I feel that I am not from this place. And they look at me like, no, you look like us. You got genetic. You actually look just like us. And I'm saying, oh, I'm a star seed, Dad. And they're like, what the hell? This dude, my kid is crazy.
Yeah,
But you
literally.
got a great explanation on that. Go ahead.
I'm just laughing because I'm remembering when I was explaining all of this to my mom, and she's just looking at me like, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I
so
made you, baby. I made you. What you
like,
talking about? Yeah.
okay. So you really have to understand that you are a soul. You are a soul. And that soul is so vast, and you've had so many experiences beyond this current incarnation. And I could get into the time space continuum and how, time really doesn't exist because all of your incarnations are happening simultaneously right now. However, in this incarnation, you have chosen certain individuals to be your parents for very specific reasons. Ultimately, because whatever experience you wanted to have, you knew that these two beings would ultimately support you in doing that, whether it's the specific lessons you wanted to learn or just a specific type of energy you wanted to have, whatever it is. We choose our human parents for specific reasons, but it doesn't mean that we don't have this vastness to our soul. So separate your soul, people, from this human body temporary experience.
Okay. Well, out of humans, just being little humans and being me, when I go back, I have to really, really negotiate new contracts because I want a better deal. I want a better deal when it comes down to this thing, and that's how it works. But I had someone that did a reading and said, Roderick, you're an old soul. This is your last time here. What do they mean by that?
As a soul, we can graduate through different levels of consciousness. And I even want to relate this to the overall ascension piece, which is Earth is a school. And within the Earth game simulation school, there are certain lessons and experiences that are available to you that are not necessarily available in other dimensions. Just because beings on that frequency have outgrown the need for those experiences. So, um, your soul will choose to come to a place like this specifically to have these experiences. And maybe it's your last incarnation because your soul says, hey, I did the earth thing so many times. I am done with it. I graduated. There's really nothing else I can learn. And when we look at I'd like to call this the collective higher self of, okay, the Galactic Federation just wants to come through and share on this. So greetings, dear ones. Greetings. We are most excited to be here in this way, helping you expand your consciousness. And for us, we have been waiting for this for a long time to connect with you in this way. And what this dear channel is speaking on is that the collective higher self of we can say the earth soul is asking to play a higher game. You see, they're just games within God's creation. And the game that humans have been playing on earth is simply expanding, meaning you are expanding outside of, let's say, poverty, fears, racism, wars, all types of things that have served you on a soul level to experience. But the collective earth experience is getting ready to shift into a higher dimensional timeline where you can experience more peace, bliss, love, harmony, creativity, and all of those types of things that we experience here in the higher dimensions. So
All
we
right.
hope that answers your question.
When you said we, you were at channeling, right? Correct.
Yes, correct.
All right. Let me get back on. I took the detour. Galactic Citizen. We talked about that, right? Or let's get in.
Yes.
So we did.
No, we didn't actually. Becoming a galactic citizen,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
perfect on
Share
the
that with
heels. So when we say you're becoming a galactic citizen, what we mean is that humans have been experiencing themselves as living a linear reality, meaning you're perceiving yourself to being a being on this one planet and there's nothing else outside of this existence. And that's been the case for various reasons. As you start to reclaim more of your cosmic consciousness, you are preparing to be reintroduced into the galactic community. This is sort of what we've been joking with Erin about as your debut on the galactic scene. Humans are going to be the new kids on the galactic block. Not that humans have never been a part of the galactic community, but for we would say roughly 3,000 years or so, humans have been closed off to that knowingness. So you're getting ready to remember that you are not just a planetary citizen, you are a galactic citizen and also a universal citizen and also a multiversal citizen.
Who are we talking to? Who's talking to us?
Sure. So right now, these are the Arcturians coming through. So there are many different beings a part of the Galactic Federation. Within that, the Arcturian Council, they are my particular team of light that I work closely with. So these are the beings coming through at the moment.
So do I have a team?
Everybody has a team. Everybody has a team. Angels, aliens, even fairies, unicorns, dragons. I mean, it really gets ascended masters. It really gets to be exciting. Everybody has a team. Ancestors, family that have crossed over. So, yes.
So would my team talk to you to give me messages?
Absolutely. You know, when this has been happening, when I'm talking to you on the phone and we're talking about things,
Okay.
and I say,
Okay.
oh, your team is here right now. This is what they're explaining on that. So, yes. So, how it works is either my team will just stream me the information from that person's higher self, or I will channel that person's higher self, or their guides will specifically give me information, you know, or sometimes angelic beings will deliver the information. It really just depends on the unique energy of the person and like what they need.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to get into a little more detail in Starseeds. Okay. And I think a lot of us, like myself, you know, one point in time, I was trying to put this Starseed council, not a council, but like a panel together. And I started on this Starseed search. And I got to tell you, I saw some differences in, some had their face painted like some wars or, purples and blues and greens. And, you see some weird stuff. Okay. I'm serious. And it almost discouraged me at one point that, wait a minute, how do you know someone who's authentic or this? Do they even know, or they just want to fit in? Because we have this thing in psychology, the fantasy personality prone, where people want to experience this experience so bad that it just takes over. Especially when somebody who says, "I want to see a UFO. I want to see a UFO for years," and when they think they first saw that first one, and they send you the case, you got to bag up because they would kill you over that when you say, "Nah, it's a bird or a weather balloon," right? So how do we know is there a difference? And I guess with an Earth soul would be an individual, or would there be three? We have a starseed, an Earth soul, and then we have these, I don't know, fakes. You know, am I using the term right?
So are you essentially asking how can we identify an authentic star seed, or who's actually a real star seed?
Yes, and I'm gonna do that in my sign language. Yeah, hang on. Or if I look, or if
No,
I play, or if I, play by clip. Yes, hell yes, yes. But yes, go ahead.
it okay. The guidance on this is, as a collective, we should stay away from trying to get very specific about who's who and who's what, because it just creates hierarchy, or it creates this collective belief that some beings have access to something that you don't have, or some beings are better than other beings, which is not the case at all. If anything, it's less about if a person is a star seed or an earth soul, and it's simply what do they represent? What do they embody? Are they talking about peace, unity, love, light, empowerment, upliftment? What is the frequency of this being is more important than, trying to get into labels. Labels create limitations, and that's something we all want to stay away from. And then furthermore, the human DNA itself is a combination and variety of so many different galactic genetics that technically we could say everyone is a star seed. I mean, because we perceive Earth to not be a galactic place or thing, but it is. We're all just in the cosmos. We're all galactic beings already.
Okay, so star seeds, Earth souls.
The
What do we got?
difference between
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So a star seed is simply a soul who has been incarnating for a very, very long time, millions of years, a lot of star seeds, such as myself. And they've had more otherworldly experiences and other dimensional experiences beyond the experiences on Earth. So for me personally, I've been on Earth about 5 times. And as opposed to an Earth soul, this is sort of where your soul first started incarnating, meaning when your soul split off from source energy and you decided that you wanted to go explore and experience, you started out on planet Earth. And so this is sort of like where your soul's energy is calibrated to. Whereas a star seed, this is not their home frequency. We'll put it that way.
All right, hang on 1 second. I have to get my visuals. I know y'all finding value in this video, so make sure we hit those likes and also share and comment afterwards. So anyway, like the video. I like to give them a little visuals when we do that. All right, so what is the purpose of a starseed being here anyway? What's the purpose?
So as a star seed, what happens is you incarnate into this reality and you have a human experience, meaning just like everybody else, you're in the matrix like everybody else, you're having these experiences like everybody else. And so this is what we would call the dormancy phase of your journey. And then at a certain point, something triggers the activation phase where you start remembering that there's so much more beyond. Now, the whole purpose is that we seed ourselves here, hence the term starseed, because we want to experience the human condition. We want to understand the traumas, the challenges, the difficulties for humans when it comes to elevating their consciousness and raising their vibration. So to truly assist, we would have to have that experience ourselves. We would have to go through that experience. But coming in knowing that our soul vibrates at this certain frequency and contains this quantum wisdom, that once it's activated, we'll be able to move through some of the challenges with a greater sense of mastery, so healing ourselves and then spreading that knowledge and information. So that is why we're here.
Interesting. So I saw in the chat there was a few people raising their hands. I'm a star seed. I'm a star seed. But I'm sure there's people out there that's kind of feeling they don't really know. They do have this sometimes I don't belong here thoughts, and what is this place?
Sure.
What should people do if they think they are star seeds?
The biggest part of your job as a star seed is to actually be an
Mm,
example of what it means to be a higher dimensional being. And that higher dimensional consciousness is simply a being who walks in love, who walks in oneness, and who walks in joy, happiness, and abundance. And this is so important, dear ones. So, Galactic Federation coming through again, or Arcturian beings representing Galactic Federation right now coming through. This is important, dear ones, because on your planet you tend to evaluate yourself in terms of performance metrics, meaning you see ascension as a goal that you must achieve, and once you achieve this enlightenment, then you will be worthy and validated, and that source God creator will then respect, honor, and love you. But it's really that ascension is simply about enjoying more of your existence. That existence itself is the gift that has been given from the creator to creation to experience all of what we are. And so when you find joy in experiencing all that you are and all that you can create and all that you can be, that is true freedom. That is true ascension. And so for all of the star seeds here, there is about a scanning the energetics of the energy now. 90% of the individuals who are here because they're star seeds.
wow, that is pretty deep there. We got about almost 900 people in this room tonight. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. But also just let you all know, we're going to be doing a Q&A session. It's going to be coming up, and it's going to be on Why the Big Secret. The link is in the description down here, as well as all of her links. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel, her IG. We have all of that in the description, but we're definitely going to have you to come over to Why the Big Secret. And also, we're Why the Big Secret YouTube channel. We're going to hit our 10,000 subscribers, so we're about a couple of hundred from that. And maybe all of you could make sure that we hit that mark in our celebration. And why not, when we have a special person like Erin here with us tonight, that we will achieve that. So, Erin, I want to move into the big things, and then also I want to give some people some things that we still talked about light workers. Look, just a little moment ago, we know that there's a light language, and once again, I want to hit on that. I'm gonna have you to share a little of that language with us, not now, but later on in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I just love it. I really do. I really do. Let's talk about the multiverse, the quantum holographic multiverse. We know that some things is out there and it's happening.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
this is, I think now we're going to get really deep, and we're going to go into the bigger schemes, and we're going to talk about the source, God. All right, and and, and I will say this:
The big guy upstairs.
this guy upstairs. I know it's about choices. I
Or
know
woman.
a woman. I know that I chose to eat the foods that I eat, and now I'm trying to release the weight in the journey. And by the way, everyone, with Billy Carson's sister, Maria Carson, we're doing it's her TV show about helping people through. She's a nutritionist, world class weightlifter, and triathlon. But I'm going to be her test subject, and we're going to get a few 100 pounds off of me, y'all. So, but in the meantime, I would ask the source God, why do they allow these experiences to go on?
So, okay, we have a special guest.
Okay, all right, then bring it.
We have a special guest. This is just so funny. These beings are like very funny. Source wants to come through and speak directly to itself is what it's saying.
Okay.
So yes, 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 yes. This is all that is. We are all that is. We are all that is. We are all that is. This we are the source. This is the source. This is the source. The source of who you are, the source of who all of your other selves are. And so you ask, why do we allow these experiences to take place? And that is because we desire to know ourselves experientially. You see, the two most powerful words that you are aware of, which are I am. When we first came into the awareness of ourselves, we said, I am, meaning I exist. But then after that question, we desire to know, what am I? What do I have the possibility to be? What are the depths of my own infinity? And so we fractalized ourselves into zillions of pieces, allowing these pieces known as souls to go out and create through free will, but thus giving us this feedback and this information on who we are and the infinity of what we can be. So you see, we experience the depth of our potentiality through all of your experiences. And this is why we do not judge. We do not think as humans in terms of good and bad. We are in a 0 point frequency neutralization of recognizing that all experiences are simply souls on a journey of exploration through consciousness, and at a certain point in time they will re-emerge back with us in the wholeness and benevolence of all that is. So you see, we allow these things because we know the end result, which is coming back home within this frequency of all that is.
Okay, that's pretty deep. That's really, really deep. I once was talking to I would every now and then get someone call. I have a friend that he's a reptilian channeler, and he will sometimes send channeling messages, and then I would have other people that do so as well. And one of the things that I started getting was when I start going through my journey now, as I am working on these projects and different things, and bringing a little more, because I do a uh, one of my affirmation is to what I call be the catalyst to bring millions of our community into the alignment of extraterrestrial resistance in a positive way. Okay.
Sure.
But through this challenge, where I'm going with this, they start talking about parallel realities. And he was like, change, you want to try to get yourself into a different reality. And I'm like, wait a minute, would that be a huge shift where I wake up tomorrow and now I'm driving the car that I wanted? Or does it move? So what are parallel realities? Because you mentioned it earlier that things are happening all at the same time.
So, okay, how I want to explain this for you guys is, let's say you are watching your favorite television show and you love this show, but at a certain point in time, you say, I want to change the channel, AKA change the frequency. And when you change that channel, then you are tuned into the frequency that allows you to see this new program that is running or playing on the channel. However, it doesn't mean that the show on the other channel you were just watching isn't still playing, existing at the same time. You just simply change the channel so you're not tuned into it. And it also doesn't mean that there aren't a network of other channels playing on different frequencies at the same time. So with parallel realities, there are this is where we get into the quantum field of infinite possibility, the quantum field of all that is, also known as the super consciousness akasha. All things that have the possibility or potentiality to exist are already existing all the time as frequency. So 1.3 billion years ago is actually still happening now. You're just not tuned into that frequency, so you don't experience it from that vantage point. So in this way, if all of these realities are happening simultaneously, that's really the word, it's all happening simultaneously, then that means that time is an illusion, and time is simply based on the vantage point of your consciousness. Now, when you start accelerating the frequency of your consciousness in this ascension that we're talking about, you can do things like experiencing yourself as being in multiple parallel realities at the same time. So when we say humans are experiencing a linear reality, it is because humans experience time as being in the same timeline reality because they're unaware that there's so many other parallel versions of themselves that they could tap into.
So essentially, you're saying there is a possibility that one can jump from parallel realities and experience a different version of this me and what
Yes.
we're doing, right? So how do I do that?
So first of all, it happens all the time. Everybody is already doing it. It's the infinite intelligence built into this structure. It happens already. Meaning, so there's a version of you today that woke up and for whatever reason you chose to wear that color shirt. I chose to wear this shirt. Just the frequency, the energy of the day. But there's a parallel version of us somewhere in the quantum that chose to wear a different shirt as we're sitting in this conversation based on the energy, the frequency. So nonetheless, when you want to experience a quantum leap, it's about matching the vibrational frequency of the reality that you want to shift into. So I want you to see this as this is where you are right now with certain thoughts, beliefs, of vibration, energy, whatever. And that's creating your reality on autopilot. Then you have a parallel version of yourself that's experiencing something totally different because it has different beliefs, different thoughts, different expectations and frequency and all of that. And so your job is only to close the vibrational gap, is to match the frequency of that version of you through what we call shadow work. What am I believing? What is my self-image? What attributes would this future self have? And becoming that person as much as possible is going to close the vibrational gap, and thus you experience a quantum leap.
So as a human collective, are we simply what I'm looking for? Co-creating realities and we can shift from time, anytime?
Yes. And that is what the whole ascension mission is that the more beings that begin to awaken to their true power, their true God self, we can consciously as a human collective decide which types of realities we want to co-create. So the realities that we've been experiencing are simply a collective dream state where energetically most of the masses are on a certain frequency, and that frequency fuels a certain timeline experience.
Whoa, that's deep. You deep. All of it's deep, because we sit here now in this reality.
Right.
And it's like, okay, man, there's a lot of changes that I want to make. And I believe, because I've been told so many times, and I talk to a lot of interesting people, what all that you say, and most are saying, Roderick, you can shift this thing, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Now, I believe as I manifest every day and as I do my affirmations, and I've been doing this 369, and it has been powerful, and to see some of the changes and what has happened. And I'm like, this is it. And I said this before New Year's Eve when I went to Billy's house for a New Year's Eve thing and got out the car and, I walked to his front door and these big, massive doors. And I said, oh yeah, I'm manifesting right now, So anyway, let me take us real quickly. And I want to get into some of this light language in just a moment.
Okay, let's do it.
Because we're going to do a Q&A in about 30 minutes on Why the Big Secret channel. And so those of you who are watching, we got 1,000 people in here now, so it's grown. Definitely, if you got some Q&As, and I know a lot of you do, come over to Why the Big Secret is when we end this show tonight. And then you can ask some questions. And it'll be a little more intimate, right? So you guys can do that. Erin, first, before we go into the light language, I watched a movie called 222. I don't know if you've seen this movie.
No, I haven't.
And I was just watching the other night, and it was something that was happening in this man's life every day at 222. And what so happened, he met this girl and he saved her life, or he almost, some kind of death almost happened. But they fell in love real quickly because they had this high energy. And through this movie, they realized they was born on the same day, and all these things, and they just and they could never figure it out. But he started getting these images of a different reality of what was happening, and it was
Mhm.
taking him back 40 years ago in Grand Central Station, where these two people were killed by a gunman. They was in love, and it just so happened he figured out it was them. And so all of a sudden he's in this life,
Mhm.
and his whole thing was, I love her so much, I'm gonna try to change what happened 40 years ago to
I
us.
think I saw
Yeah,
this.
and at the end, I didn't realize what was going on, but ultimately, she figured it out that, yeah, they both were reincarnated, okay?
Mhm.
But this time he came back and figured, "No, I'm not." They was born on the same day, which is because they had died that same day, so they came back the same day, and it was just so phenomenal. And the reason I just brought that up, because I'm saying this to people because we're starting to get a lot of more information out there about the afterlife. Like you said, souls coming back over and over. At what point will society or the church, in your opinion only, will begin to say, wait a minute, this heaven thing is a little different. You know what I'm saying? And your mansion is not really there. You better come back and build a
A
new.
little bit more going on, right?
Yeah, a little bit more going on. So, and so, where do you think about this? And especially, for people who are now what I call curious, and that's
Mhm.
exactly the main reason for Project Black, because I feel there's so many wanderers out there. I want to bring them over here, and once we get them, and then they can go over here to Forbidden Knowledge and get more knowledge. But in the meantime, I think there's millions of them, and we're going to reach
Sure.
them. But what's your thoughts on that question?
So, speaking of heaven and the afterlife and soul contracts, individuals who are, experiencing their connection to God, source, prime creator through the lens of a religion, that is a part of an experience that their higher self is choosing for various reasons. And I want to deliver this in this way because sometimes in the spiritual community and like in these galactic spaces, people tend to think that we need to like shake and wake people up and oh my gosh, no, their soul is having that experience of through that lens and trusting and knowing that that experience is serving them on a soul level, and you just simply being in peace is a part of your ascension. Because when you are at peace with what other beings are experiencing and you don't create this almost like this forcing of people to believe what you believe, that's really when we enter the timelines of unity, of respecting each other's experiences. So I would say first, allow each being to walk its path, each soul to walk its path. This is how we operate in the higher dimensions. We just allow, it's almost like there's a law of non-interference. However, just because the planet itself is ascending and the frequency is accelerating, this information is just going to be more and more and more and more prevalent, and people are going to have to expand their awareness. Now, the souls who aren't ready to elevate their game, meaning they on a soul level, the higher self can see, okay, the game is changing on earth. If they still want to play some of those other, I hate to call them lower vibrational games, but they are lower vibrational games. They're just going to go somewhere else in the universe, other worlds where those things are still happening. But for this planet, the planet herself, she is choosing to ascend. So that's my take on religion.
Okay, well that sounds good. And for everyone, once again, this is Erin Lyons, as you can see, Galactic Channel and Quantum Healer. She does have her own YouTube channel. Definitely, you want to check it out. And the links to her Instagram and also her website. You can get different channeling. She has a lot of courses and things that she can take you on a journey with and help you. And definitely, you watch, so you definitely know she's very intuitive in what she's doing. So you can definitely support her, but definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel. And then also, once again, in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll be over to Why the Big Secret YouTube channel. So there's a link in the description. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get a couple more hundred people for our 10,000 mark. But we're going to have a Q&A. But before we do that, Erin, light language.
Yes.
All right. So what is light language before we do some light language?
Yeah.
And where does it come from?
So if the universe had a language, it would be frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is frequency, sound, light, and matter. And so even the human language is just made up of different sound combinations and frequencies that we have simply identified to represent or mean certain things. But when someone's channeling light language, they're pulling through sound dialects and combinations that the human mind has not assigned meaning to because it can't, because it's channeled from the quantum field in the moment. And what happens is the sound frequency waves create geometrical light prisms, or we'll just say sacred geometry. And when that sacred geometry that contains light codes and key codes, raw cosmic key codes, interacts with your electromagnetic field, your personal gravitational force field, it rearranges you, meaning it unlocks you to release some of the vibrational patterns. So when we talk about energetic blockages, they're really just vibrational patterns, they're lower vibrational patterns. And the sacred geometrical light prisms are moving that energy so you can realign with who you really are as a soul, that pure soul frequency that's already vibrating high. So that's what it is. In a more scientific way, I like to explain it to demystify, because I know there's like all this stuff with tongues and this and that. And that's like, a whole other conversation we can have. But if this is your first time experiencing it, I want you to see it through the lens of this is simply sound, frequency, vibration interacting with my personal energetic field. That's it.
All right. So I think my show producer is in the audience. Lonnie, if we can put her YouTube channel into the link so people can subscribe to it. There are a few saying that they already are. There's a few, someone that posted said they have already did a session with you and that you're on fire.
Who's the person?
Let me put it on the screen here. Let me scroll back to see. It's just their username, but right here it says Tara Raft or something. She said I had a session. She's on fire.
Okay. No clue. I don't think that's their real name, but it's okay.
Yeah, but if y'all want to put your real name in the chat, I'll make sure Erin knows it is you who have did a session with her already. But let me see let me find what I'm looking for here. All right, so I'm going to bring the screen up on you only. So that, okay, so her YouTube channel is in the description there in the chat, so you guys can see it. Lonnie just posted it right about there, and we would do that. So we're going to do a little light language, then we'll end this, and then we'll go over, we'll at 9:30 or 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, we will start the Q&A on Why the Big Secret YouTube channel. So the link is in the description. All right, I'm gonna bring you up by yourself, and let's hear some light energy language. Energy, right?
Yep. Cosmic language, celestial language, galactic language, angelic language, whatever you want to call it. All the things. Source language. Okay, so I just want to tune into the frequency of what's needed for all of the beings here today. This is going to be coming from the 9th dimensional Arcturian Council, as well as some angelic, high angelic Elohim beings, creator beings who have created many, many, many universes, and they are here to support you in reclaiming your quantum memory, remembering who you are, remembering who you are, remembering who you are. We're going to do some third eye work, and then I'm seeing we're going to do some heart chakra work. You need to open your heart to truly experience the love of God, the love of the infinite creator who is here to co-create with you. More abundance, more abundance. And here it is coming. It is coming. Korakatai shia marakutra ya ilera korakatai shia naria kia tramo rukuru kutru koti ishia naria kia trao kotaya ishia kamara yai kotriai yarakatria korakatai shia kataraya ukurakatai shia katramo urkotru kutria ishia kia treishi yarakataya ria kotrio kotria ishia narakataria kotria ma ia kotriai urakatai shia kia trama ukuru kotia ishia kia tria ilero korakatai rekatro kuai. Working in the third eye here, illuminating, crystallizing. Open your eyes. You are vast. You are so much more. You are beyond these temporary experiences. You are free now. Tiarakataria iroko rakatai shi anara korakata ya kiatai shi korakatai shi. Lots of ancestral trauma we're releasing here. Oh, angelic beings stepping forward. Open your heart. All is available to you now. Some of you feeling stuck in the same reality. Just removing the densities, the blockages. Moving this energy out of your field. You should be feeling lighter. Joy in the soul. Some of you are saying, all of these beautiful star seeds are saying, I want to leave. I want to go home. You are here to bring heaven down to earth. It is a master lesson. You have asked to be here so that you can master yourself. You can be anywhere and experience peace, harmony, bliss, and abundance. And then you graduate into the higher dimensional reality. We're just going to place an ankh in your heart. Kurakata ia shiara rakata yara kiatra urrakata isia ia kiatia irokorakata I kutrokotria I shianuru kotria mahurakata I shiara kata yara katria I kitra kotu. We are complete.
All right now. Okay.
Whew.
That was fire.
That was a lot.
You good?
I went into a deep trance with that. That was like way more than what I was expecting.
It's okay. Like I said, we got 1,000 people in here. There's people saying receive it. There's people that was feeling it. And of course, every now and then you have someone says, what is going on?
Sure.
And this is amazing. So I want to thank you once again for being here with us. And we'll give you a few moments, 10 minutes to get your rest, and we'll be doing a Q&A for just a little while. We won't do a long one, maybe 30, 45 minutes.
I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's do it.
All right. And so hopefully you all have seen the link. It's in the description. It'll bring you over to the Why the Big Secret. I see a lot of, look at all these hearts and everything else. Of course, subscribe to her YouTube channel or Instagram, but we're definitely going to do her YouTube so we can build that up as well. So make sure you guys go over there. And once again, that link is in the chat for her YouTube channel. And then you can go to her website. Everything is here. All right. So, Erin, why don't you, I'm going to do a closing here, and then we'll get everyone over to Why the Big Secret for and it's going to happen now in about 15 minutes, everyone. It'll be over at Why the Big Secret's YouTube channel, and there is a link to that channel in the description. And we're looking for a couple hundred people to reach our 10,000. So hopefully you guys subscribe if you have not. What are your thoughts tonight? Any final words to her? Someone says she's in tears right now.
A lot comes up to release. Yeah. Allow it to it's leaving the body. It's leaving you so you can experience the true joy and freedom of your soul. So you can make that quantum leap we talked about.
There you go. All right. There we go. And we're going to do other shows. We're going to, of course, you're part of Project Black. And so we're going to be helping a lot of people. And so make sure you guys will be putting that website pretty soon. We'll do some online things that you all can participate in. And it's going to be amazing to do. So I'm going to do my outro here, Erin. Just hang in the back here. And thank you.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Hang on a second. All right. So what amazing show, really, tonight. And I just thank each and every one of you for being here with us tonight. And Erin was just amazing. And I hope whoever is supposed to be have touched, seen, gathered, enlightened, any word we can use in a positive format for you, that this was the show for you tonight. Because for me, it's been amazing and just on a journey of knowing Erin as what she does. She's a professional at what she does. We're going to support her. So definitely, once again, if you want to take advantage of some of her courses and offering, go to her website. And you can, it's erinlyonsofficial.com. So you want to check that out. But most importantly, subscribe to that YouTube channel. And once again, we're going to do a live Q&A in about 15 minutes. But I love what I do. I really do. I love what I do. I love what I've become and where I'm going. I love the fact that there are some people who can't understand what is happening, and we can hopefully open the doors for them. But then also, if they want to continue wondering, so be it. That's their soul. That's their choice, and they can do what they want. But for the rest of you, we got a plan. We got a path. We got an action. As you're here on Forbidden Knowledge TV, the Forbidden Knowledge family, I want to thank you for watching what we have here in the content here, and thank Billy Carson and Elizabeth and all those people just giving me an opportunity to serve you. And I serve you with kingship, I should say. So once again, it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. I love you. I'm Roderick Martin, and we are out the door tonight. And make sure you come next week. We got a lot of other things for you. Much love.